Joey Newman, worked here for 15 years. Fabricator, just did whatever needed to be done. Best memory I have of this place was just the family. They, to me, are still amazing. I love them all. It was family oriented, and it still is. So that's what it's all about, man. I love it. Love it. Wouldn't have had it any other way.
I worked there, I think, from 1999 to 2008. Funny memories, just been a ton of them. I guess one of them was when we had to go get a car down in Charlotte that they were doing a commercial with, and it was a road course car, and they ended up wrecking it.
Hey, my name's Lewis Davis. Worked here for 8 years. Fortunate enough to work with Adam for a number of years and grow up with him, and that's probably my best memory of Petty Enterprises. I think probably one of the best memories is growing up with him, hanging out with him on the farm a little bit, and got to see him flip a golf cart one day, so that was probably my best memory.
Tim Goad, pit stop coach for 2 years. Probably one of the funnest memories is working with all the people here.
Oh, where's he at?
They helped us, and they come out and watch practice, and everybody would start laughing. We just had a good time and everything.
Bill Scott. I started here in 1998. Been working for Richard in some form or fashion ever since. Now I've been through Petty Enterprises, I've been through Richard Petty Driving Experience, Richard Petty Motorsports, Petty GMS, and now Legacy Motor Club. The most memorable moment, was not a good moment, was Jerry Nadeau coming to take the checkered flag in the 44 car at Sonoma, and turned off on turn 11 before taking the white flag. Had about a 30 car length lead, burned a rear end gear. It was probably one of the saddest moments of my life.
All right, so I'm Lance Brown. Got to think about how long I've worked here. Started in 1997 through 2022. 4-year hiatus in the middle. So let's call that 19 years. Hard at math, but that's about right. I did marketing, communications, sales, sponsorship management, kind of all the above. I don't know. Maybe one of my most unique memories is the King's crooked finger telling me one time that if he needed to do it himself, why did he have me working for him?
My name is Steve Mitchell. I worked here from 99 to, I don't remember what year it was when we moved to Mooresville. That was my last year here. I drove Adam's truck, and then with Kyle, drove the 43, drove the 44, worked on the Dodge development, just did a little bit of everything, and there was so many good times here. This was my favorite place to work at. It's so family oriented, and I miss it dearly.
Kyle Petty. I never worked here. I just hung out here, really. I never really worked here. I don't know, man. I got a million memories. I got memories of wrecking a bicycle over there where the parts department used to be, which is now the Chrysler barn, which is now whatever it is again. Building this building when they built it. Winning races out of here, going to races out of here, taking showers in that bathroom over there and going straight to high school. So I got too many memories here. Maybe that's the bad part. My best memory so far, though, is tonight and all these people behind me.
Richard Mellentine. Worked here from 1st of 93 until about September 93. Worked on suspension with cars, went to the track. Memory-wise, probably Lee Petty coming in every Monday, coming over, shaking my hand, how I do and everything. And then after that, he would run over to Dale Inman and Robbie Loomis and just literally rip them bad.
Bill Carter. Worked here, I think, 99 to 2001, I believe is when it was. Assembled qualifying engines. I don't know about the good memory, I guess just working here, really. We had a pretty good time back then. I believe it's a whole lot better back then than it is now.
I'll probably fall down. Hey, Bob Garl came to work here 50 years ago. Didn't know nothing. Found out I didn't know nothing once I got here. Maurice Petty was great. He was my daddy and stayed my daddy for a while. I learned to do cylinder heads here and left here and ended up with Earnhardt for 6 of his championships. And it's been great. It's been great. I look forward to this thing every year because there's so much good BS in this room right now. There's so much. I mean, there's a lot of history here. And we're losing them by the day, you know, stuff like that. And like I said, it's great. And the memories are wonderful. Well, when I first got to know Chief and he took me under his wing, I went over to his house for the first time. He said, come on over, we'll have a drink over at the house. I go over there across the street. And I'd been reading, we were just getting into the small block Chrysler stuff, the 340s and stuff. And I thought I'd impress him with something I saw in a magazine. And I started rattling off that stuff, and he said, hold on. Once we come on this side of the road, we leave that on the other side of the road. And that's the way it is. And that was Chief, and he was wonderful. You know what I mean? I used to put toys together for his kids at Christmas. And he loved December because he didn't have to go to the racetrack. You know what I mean? And he was a horse. God, he was a horse. From the waist up, that was the strongest man in NASCAR. Hit me once, playing with me, and I thought I was going to die. It took me 2 minutes to get my breath back. So anyway, but no, this was such a fun place. It really was.
Brian Moffitt worked here from 1996 till 2008 when we moved over to Mooresville. Still continue to work with him right up until last year, actually. I was VP of marketing for years, and then I became the CEO. Probably my fondest memories was when we were working with General Mills, Sprint, and Hot Wheels back in the late 90s and early 2000s.
I'm Kenny Arnwine. I worked here from 2000 to 2004. I worked originally in the parts room for the first several years, and I came out here on the floor and I did the interiors on the hot rods after that. One year, I was working in the parts room and had a laser cutter that started using up in Greensboro, and I'd ordered something. We just started using them, and the parts came in and they were all wrong. And I called the guy up and I said, hey, this is not what I asked for. And we got in a bit of an argument about it. And I told him, like, look, I'll pay for it, but I'm not going to use you again. So anyway, a couple weeks go by, and all of a sudden I'm in my office one day, and all of a sudden the light kind of dims, and I knew what happened. I knew what it was when the light dimmed. That was because Richard's hat was blocking out the light above me. And I turned around and looked up, and he's towering over me. And he drops this letter into my lap, and it was a letter from that guy that owned the machine shop. And he, that big old long finger, he hits me in the chest. What's this about, boy? So I start reading the letter and see what it's about, and I can see, I can feel red going up because I was pretty angry reading it. So I tell him what happened, and and he understood from our perspective that, oh no, that is not what we ordered, and we can't even use the parts. And I tell him all this, and he's like, okay, buddy, and walked out the door.
Mike Hart, 73 to 85. I helped on the pit crew just on the weekends. Caught gas, helped the gas man, carried tires, anything it was asked me to do. One year we was going to Michigan. I went early, just 4 of us, and Dale said I was going to have to drive some, get in the back of the van and sleep. We didn't make it to Kernersville, and I had to drive from there on.
My name is Richard Boyles. Worked with Adam Petty. I was rear tire changer for Adam. Just all around guy at the shop. Good memory is we all used to go out back and race RC cars behind the shop and cut up on our break times and after work.
My name's Chris Martin. I worked here from 99, 2001. Worked for Adam Petty. I was a mechanic. Worked on setup plate, changed tire carrier. What's an interesting story? I'll share one with you. I remember this, and it involves the King and Adam. We was at the first race Adam's first Cup race at Texas. And we was going back and forth between the Nationwide garage, it might have been Busch Series at the time, but back and forth to the Cup garage. And I remember we was working on Nationwide car at the time. We was having a sway bar problem, and the King, well, he wants to get under the hood. And he's sticking his hands down while we're trying. Do you remember this when we was trying to change his boat? I'm talking to Huzzy over here, and he's trying to change this boat. Well, Adam's sitting in the car, and the King's down up under the hood. And I can tell this now because he can't fire me. And Adam's going, tell him to get out of the way. Tell him to get out of the way. I'm like, I'm not telling him to get out of the way. He's the King. I'm not telling him to get out of the way. He's like, tell him to get out of the way. Huzzy's on top of he's hollering because we can't get the boat out, but the King's got his hands in the way. So eventually he moves, we get the boat out of the way. Of course, Adam calls him to the car is how he finally gets out of the way. But there's an interesting story with Adam and the King at Texas.
Larry Holland, I was here from probably 97 to 2002. I was a spotter for Jimmy Hensley in the trucks to start with. Then I spotted for Adam, and then I spotted for Kyle. I do remember Adam. A good Adam story was we're at California. I'm the calm spotter, and he goes 5 wide down the back stretch, and he comes over the radio and says, "Am I scaring you now, Larry?" That was always that was a great memory.
Ricky Thomas, I worked here between 98 to 2008, 7, somewhere along in there. I worked in the fab shop, changed tires on the 44, 43, different cars, and then worked as a pit crew coach also, a little bit of everything. Some funny things was working with Dale Inman is a lot of things. It wasn't all fun, but anyway, every time you'd show up, he'd say, "Let's go, we're leaving at 5 o'clock. You better be there at 4:30 because at 5 you was late." So he was definitely fun to work with and learned a lot from him.
My name's Philip Perdue, and I was at Petty's for 8.5 years, and I started out with Adam's Bush car and then went on to Kyle Petty's. But one fun instance with Adam and I, we would always race to get to the shop, but no one had a key to get in the door, so we basically just sat in the parking lot until someone came and unlocked it.
Name's Brian Doby, and I worked with Adam from 96 to 99, 2000. So I worked with the pit crew there. I was a jack man for Adam, and I guess actually my funniest memory with Adam was even before we started racing the Bush cars. Was we used to run legend cars together, and we were racing at Charlotte on the small track out behind the speedway, and we ended up wrecking one another. So he blamed it on me, I blamed it on him, so we got through it. But anyway, that was real fun. And then I guess one of the fondest memories is when Adam got to run his first Winston Cup race at Texas, and just being out there on pit road and taking the team picture and just seeing Adam smile and being so happy that he was in Winston Cup, and that's one of the greatest memories.
Jeff Craven, I worked at Petty Enterprise from 1992 to 2001. Fond memories here, of course, was with when we won with Bobby Hamilton, ones like Rockingham, John Andretti at Martinsville. We all had a lot of fun here.
Hi there, I'm Scott Boyne. I worked at Petty Enterprises from 1997 to 2003. I was the purchasing manager and a tire carrier. I'd say the most enjoyable part of it was the people, and there's not just one memory, it's a tremendous number of memories and the relationships made along the way.
My name's Doug Stange. I started to work for Richard and Linda in 1977 over on the farm. I come to work over here in 1980 helping Mr. Perkins, and then I went to work in the body shop up there until Richard left to go to Kannapolis to race for Mike Curb. And whenever he did that, I went back to the farm. Fondest memory was Lee Petty, because to start with, me and him never got along, and then they took his garden away from him. I moved his dirt up there where they'd filled in the pool, and ever since then, me and Lee got along like best friends.
My name is Jeremy Labertone. I was on the 45 from 99 to 2000 with Adam Petty. My fondest memory would be just being around these guys. Adam was the best. He loved us like we were just regular people, and he didn't want you to know his last name was Petty. He always wanted to know his last name, or his first name was just Adam, and he wanted you to treat him just like a regular person. And I do miss him. I miss him every day. And that's about all I really have to say for that, and I wish him still here.
Joe Piet,
worked at Petty Enterprises 1998 through 2001. I did shocks. I built shocks for the race cars, and I also I did some general mechanic work, but I also was a pit crew tire changer. And something I'll never forget about working here was we were out in the parking lot one day practicing pit stops, and Richard had walked by and he was watching, and we did a pit stop, and I was the rear tire changer. We did a stop, went to the right side, got up, went running to the left side, stepped on the hose, busted my butt. He walked over, he looked down at me as I was down on the ground. He said, "Buddy, nobody said this was easy." So I'll never forget that. It was pretty cool.
Hi, my name is Julia Mann, and I came to work at Petty Enterprises in 1994 till 2008. And I love the people here. You felt like it was family and home, and you love coming to work every day. And I met my husband here.
Susan Williams, 98 to 2008. My fondest memory are just every day here in Level Cross, being with these people. The people make this place amazing.
Hey, my name's Kent Simmons. I was in the accounting department, one of the accountants here at Petty Enterprises. I was started in 1997 and left in 2001. A funny memory was when during the 50th anniversary pictures, Richard came into our group of offices there with just his shirt on and had his socks. And he says, "Well, if I took a picture just like this."
Hey, I'm Randy Cox. I've worked here since the mid-70s. Actually, I was around in the mid-70s before I was ever on the payroll. And in 77, I was on the payroll with the race team for 31 years. And I've been back at the garage for like 7 years now. Worked in the engine room, worked in fab shop, worked in the race shop, done shipping, receiving, parts department. Anything that came up, we did the backup cars. And so I did everything in there and did the parts production as far as like pedal assemblies and dashes and stuff like that. Everything about it's been great. When I got here, I didn't know anything, and the people that were here, not just Dale and Richard and Chief, but the other guys that worked here really helped me and taught me a lot of things. And then later, when I was the old guy, the new guys were really respectful. Very lucky to be here. Been shown a lot of grace through the years. It's been perfect.
He said, "Is there a way to wreck them on it?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You don't try to drive them out of it." He said, "When they get away," he said, "You just lock the brakes up and slide."